Our guest has also been hugely involved in activism for the music industry and has been very instrumental in intellectual property administration. He also has love for politics. Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Omar! Uncle Rex!
Kwame.
Akwaba.
Mejosminia.
Now who are there?
Nyame adomboko.
Oh, na ufi hifasa, ufi asante memo na bono memo na say
Me fia santi maimu.
Ufi asante memo.
Me fia mansie.
Amansie.
Be kwai abodom.
Abodom be kwai. Ye. Uncle, me ba so ene ye ni wa di djuma no na ma me nko me uncle ba ku oti he. Ono ya me uncle ankasa na me nso me nkampa nka meka so ya me grandfather. Enti ye kwaku ya pem ye ko fie pe. Uncle Ken.
Kwame.
Me wo fa Ken.
Yo, what do you mean?
Me akakakra na me di mfie aduanan.
Sa.
You. Akakakra.
Aduanan.
You.
Ntu minti me nya wo grandfather.
Sa wo sha sentem anka obetima ye. Na wadi mekwan na nyoma na ade.
Le another mini bi.
And then you also eat Ghana.
I no pay me di dokno.
Oh, okay.
Ne chinam.
Okay, in Cranford ni bi.
Yo.
You. And the ye.
I'm a chew omelette be was side no.
Ah.
And you know. Nti I no pay di medidi ama me ho abai.
Oh, you.
Medidi ama me ho abai.
Uncle, so if you fear pe.
Yo, me na no fie pe.
I wonder if you fear.
Yo.
Na
Me na fie pe of your kropon akwapem.
Okay.
Na honso na menyini.
Ho na wonyini.
Nti
na call basri.
Nti ya oh. Me fi basri sofo panyin. Presbyterian sofo panyin fi.
Ni fi.
Sofo poku fi wo kropon. Yemfi no ene asodan.
You.
Nanka ye share wall.
Peace dino.
Dabi
Christ Church kese no
Christ Church nanka ye ne nyina na one compound
you meaning ho ye
until quite recently ansana wo twa wall fa ye ne won tam because na menena very man kanso ye basel sofo panyin.
Okay.
Yo inti me ye basel ni o
we ye basel ni pa
complete na me shifting so da men baba
me da say and the Uncle Rex wo ha ye pese ye hunu political side no ye ure mu kakra hwansam ba ko mienu bi sa na ye record.
Very interesting.
Joy 99.7 FM. You're not listening to any other radio station. This is Joy. We have Rex Omar in the studio and Uncle Ken, who is a broadcaster. Today, we are tapping into the political side of Rex Omar. We are in an election year. Aristotle said that man is a political animal. Yeah, but it appears anytime we mention the word politics, it comes with some negative connotations, comes with aggression, insults, and all that. Rex Omar is here. Uncle Rex, am I right to describe you as a politician?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm a musician and a politician.
When did you become a politician?
I've always been a politician, but I was playing my politics in the music industry, music space. That's why right from 35 years ago, I was advocating. I was very, very involved in the restructuring of the new copyright law. I've been part of the politics within the music industry.
Wow.
Even though I was still behind the scenes participating in the national politics, but I wasn't playing a front role.
Okay, so you were behind the scenes.
Yes.
So if I should ask you, I know you are an NDC member.
Yes.
Which year did you join the NDC?
1992.
92.
Yes, since NDC, I was, I became very, very supportive of even PNDC.
Wow.
Because when President Rawlings, when I released our REPA, it was PNDC time, and then I was invited by Nana Kunadu Rawlings because of the song Awarepa and the Beye, and so that is where I became involved in with this politics thing. But I was playing those days. I saw myself as a musician and doing my music stuff, and even though I was really, really interested in the politics, but I wasn't playing a front role.
Why were you not playing a front role?
Because I was then very young, and at the same time, I did not think that musicians can play politics.
Okay.
Because of our society,
Mm.
you know. I was young, but
Were you scared?
I wasn't scared, but even my family wouldn't allow me because they were afraid, kind of stuff, you know. When we shifted into multi-party democracy,
Yeah.
I remember that myself, Akosua, and Nat, the day that we inaugurated President Rawlings at the Independence Park,
Yeah.
we were asked to write a song, go to studio, record the song within the same day to come and help for the inauguration. And we went through, we did that. As myself and Nat were writing the song, Akosua was doing the choreography of the young girls and all that. So, yes. So, whether we liked it or not, we were part of it, but not playing a frontal role.
Politics, as I mentioned earlier on, comes with negative connotations. Why did you decide to publicly declare your intention or your support for a particular political party?
I grew up knowing that we have erroneously given politics that negative stuff or negative narrative that politics is a dirty game and those kind of things. If you are dirty, then politics become dirty game for you. What is politics? Politics is everywhere. You play politics even in your family.
Yeah.
You play politics in your workplace. So politics is a way and a system to be able to lead, to add to nation building. You know, so as I was growing up, I convinced myself that I will not take that narrative, but I feel that I have something in me that I can contribute positively for our social economic development. So that is the reason why I decided to go full haul.
Have Ghanaians benefited from democracy?
Yes and no. Yes, because it has actually given us some kind of sense of freedom and some confidence that helps people to speak out. No, because the democracy we are practicing in Ghana, we just took the democracy as it's being practiced in the Western world without tweaking it to suit our cultural and our situation. For example, because America do elections every 4 years, we also jump on the bandwagon, do election every 4 years. But the question is, Americans' democracy is over 200 years. We just started. Okay, so look at our situation.
You want us to change the 4 years? You think?
I think it's too short, it's not helping us.
How many years do you suggest?
I would have wished if we can go 6 years and 1 term.
6 years.
6 years, 1 term. Because if you are given 6 years, you use 1 year or 1.5 years to set up your government. If 4 years, 5 years, you are not able to do anything, it means you can't do anything. There's no need for you to go a second term. We can decide to go 7 years, 1 term.
Don't you think people will still want more years,
or
more time to finish whatever they want to do?
Even
if you give them 10 years.
The whole situation is, look at our scenario. After election, the first year, it's not that the government is being formed, the appointments and all these things. By the time the government settles to actually start to roll its program, you are getting to 2 years. Now, instead of them to work, they are thinking of how to win the next election. So there's no time for Ghana. All our attention is, how do I secure the next election? I used 1.5 years to form the government. By the time I start to work for Ghana, we are almost 2 years. How do I win the next election?
And the 2 years you use maybe
that is what is happening.
1 out of the 2 years to prepare for your election.
That is what is happening to us. And I believe that as we go on as a country, if we really want to develop, yes, democracy, but we must tweak the democracy to suit our situation.
Yeah.
It will help us. Because look at the amount of money we spend every 4 years just to go through election. We spend so much money. Nobody is talking about this. We spend so much money every 4 years. That does not reflect on our development at all. You know, just because some developed democracies were going 4 years, so we also decided to go 4 years. I mean, who put a gun on our head that we should go 4 years? There's so many things that we can bring into our situation that will help us, will have positive impact on us, rather than just jumping into the bandwagon to copy what the already developed democracies are doing.
How do I even ask this question? So there were other political parties before you joined the NDC. What got you attracted to the NDC?
My father was a CPP. And I grew up reading a lot about Nkrumah. And if I check both parties, NDC and PP, if it was for let's say, easy way out, I would have gone to MPP because I'm an Ashanti and everybody in my family, most of them are MPP people. But my father was a CPP person, and then as I grew up with Nkrumah reading his books and all that, I realized that NDC is more like CPP. So that is the reason why I automatically fell for NDC. And apart from that, to President Rawlings and Nana Akufo-Addo Ajima Rawlings, they took me like their son, you know. So the loyalty was there, and then I got a lot of friends. That's where I met former President Mahama. I got a lot of friends in the party, so we became a big family.
Wow.
You know, Anti-Sharia Ite and all the big people, you know. So,
how have you contributed to this party, the NDC?
If you say
your contribution to the party,
if you say contribution, contribution comes in various forms. As an artist, I've advised behind the scenes. I've written songs. Everything that I do, like for example, when Anti-Betty Mold was at the Copyright Office, we contributed our quota. I wouldn't say I have contributed financially or anything to the party.
Okay.
But I have my ways of things and advocacy and stuff has contributed to the party in terms of their policies and their ideologies and stuff like that in relation to the creative economy and all that. I believe that I've played my role and I keep playing my role.
And how have you benefited from the party?
I will also say benefits come in different ways. I mean, I didn't join the party to benefit.
Have you gotten
personally.
Financial benefits? Have you gotten cars? Because we hear most of these creatives are giving, some of them are giving cars or money to throw their support behind some political parties.
It depends on how you go into politics. I do politics of conviction. I did not join NDC because I was expecting somebody to give me something.
Okay.
I joined it because I thought it was the best vehicle to develop this country.
But have you not gotten any financial benefit unexpectedly?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I haven't gotten any political appointment anyway. I have not been given any contract.
Okay.
Not. That is not to say if I get a contract I don't want. I have not pursued those things.
Okay.
You know, and as I was saying, I wasn't seeing myself in that line. I was just doing my music.
Okay.
And whatever I was doing, I was pushing in such a way that there will be an enabling environment created for as many musicians as possible to be able to operate. You know, so if I think I'm very talented musically, and if the enabling environment was created, I would have made my own money as a musician.
Okay.
So, but I realized that as we sit behind the fence and expecting politicians to do things for us, as much as they may want to do it, they do not understand some of the things. So that is the reason why I decided to just get involved so that I can help policy changes to be able to have impact on the total creative economy to help us.
We'll get into the creative economy. Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Kwame Dadzie. Show produced by Philip Nye, Anita Tay. Chris PK is on social media. I have in the studio Rex Omar, who is a musician and a politician, also in the studio. Uncle Ken. If you have any question for Rex, you can send them via 055 997. And it's also Ghana month. So yeah, you can share anything that gladdens your heart about Ghana via this WhatsApp number. Now, let me ask you, Rex, if you are given any political appointment, would you accept?
Why not? I will, because now I think I'm of age, and I think if I'm given any appointment that is within my capacity, I will be able to contribute positively to the development of this country.
A ministerial appointment, let's say Minister of Tourism, Art and Culture?
When we get to that road, we'll cross it, because at the end of the day, all these ministerial positions, they are political appointments. And so long as you are smart and you are intelligent and you know what's going on in this country, wherever they put you, you can deliver if you really want to.
Have there been conversations regarding this particular?
Not yet.
Are you looking forward to that?
Not really. Because you see, there's so many people who can play that role.
Okay.
To me, the most important thing is whoever is put in that place to play the role, if you give him the advice and they will take, so long as the enabling environment is created, it will help me to do my business. So at the end of the day, I mean, how many ministers are we going to have?
Yeah.
Right now, even our incoming president is saying that he's not going to take more than...
Who is our incoming president, please?
Former President Mahama. It is clear. You know, we are not going to have
We've not gone to elections already.
Oh, it is clear. I mean, so if we are going to have less ministers, and I believe that is the right way to go.
He says 60, not more than 60 ministers.
Yes, and I agree with him 100%.
And Dr. Bawumia said not more than 50.
Oh, please, you should do it now. How can you be part of a government that has bloated ministerial appointments of 123, and then you come and tell us that when you come you do 50? Why can't you do it?
Okay,
now?
so still with the appointment in the creative industry. Now, what some people are saying, people in the creative industry are saying, is that it appears that our own people who are pushed to political positions don't really impress by way of their performance, as in performances. Do you agree that our people who ascend political offices don't deliver?
You know, the politics is a different game.
For example, do you agree?
Yes, I agree, but I don't blame them. The reason why I don't blame them is when you bring a creative person and you make him, let's say, a deputy minister, and the minister, substantive minister, is not an industry person who understands the industry issues. Politically, a deputy minister should not try to outshine his minister or her minister. Definitely there will be it is
but
politically
Officer
incorrect.
Jare was a creative person. Officer Jare was from the creative industry, right?
No,
She wasn't?
she wasn't. She's a lawyer.
Okay.
Jifa Gumashi was a creative
Yeah, we
person.
know that.
You know, so the thing is, you will be there, but there isn't anything you can do. You can only be there to support your minister, advise your minister. Whether she will take it or not, that's a different ball game. And in that scenario, your industry people will be on your neck that you have not been able to do anything. But in reality, you can't do anything. You are there to support your minister. If your minister wants you to do something, you go and do it. And then, for example, if you are the creative industry person and you are deputy minister and all the industry gravitates towards you, your minister will feel jittery, thinking that maybe you're taking a shine. So this politics thing is a complex thing, you know. So some of us who blame our creative people that have been given opportunities to do things. Yes, if you are a deputy minister, you go there, get your salaries and whatever it is, and then have a name honorable. That is fine. But to have an impact, you can't.
How would you rate Mark's performance as deputy minister?
I rate
Mante's performance.
I'm rating him just like what I'm saying.
Has he delivered?
He's a deputy minister. He can't deliver anything.
Has he delivered?
He can't deliver. So I don't expect too much from him. When he became a deputy minister, I said it, that there's nothing he can do. Because at the end of the day, first and foremost, it must be your government's policy to develop the tourism and the creative economy first. If the government doesn't take the creative and tourism industry serious, as a ministry, you can't even achieve anything.
Okay.
Then when you become a deputy minister, your minister self is struggling, then you deputy minister. What will you do? You just be there. So that is the situation. So I want us to, elevate the the conversation to its proper context.
Good.
Look, globally, UNCTAD projected that 2023, the creative economy globally was going to earn 985 billion.
Okay.
In 2030, the creative economy is going to be 10% of the global GDP. A lot of countries are centering the creative economy as the main earner. So if you are a developing country like Ghana that you want to create jobs for your youth, it's been proven that the creative economy is the only industry that creates jobs for youth and women than any other industry.
Yeah.
And is the most how do I call it? There's a word for it.
Okay.
And how many people can government appoint or employ? But this is in the private sector. So as a country, if our emphasis is to create job for the youth, when you are talking about creative economy, you are talking about music, films, fashion, architecture, even media, everything. Advertising, everything. Software development, everything. So as a country that we have neglected the youth to the extent that now joblessness has become a national security issue. If we really, seriously, any government, including my own NDC government that is coming, if we really want to create jobs for the youth and change the narrative and actually think outside the box, look at the creative economy. It's a game changer. It is 24-hour economy.
Yeah.
With the creative economy
I was coming
in
there.
the center.
Now that you are there.
That will be there. That will be
Some people think that the creative industry already practices 24-hour economy.
When you say creative industry, they reduce it to music. It's not only music.
Is there no truth in that?
Some few people
recording at night. People are doing nocturnal activities
but
in the creative industry.
Let me tell you something. When you are running something by default, it's different from making it a policy of state policy, that Ghana is a 24-hour economy. In that scenario, if we were all working this way, now Ghana says we should work this way. In that scenario, everybody is standing that way.
Okay.
Some of the things that the creative economy, 24-hour economy can bring, even within the creative economy, people who are sowing for local consumption and export.
Yeah.
There are so many big factories in Ghana who are producing for the mass market outside that people don't even know. Fashion is number one when it comes to creative economy in Ghana. Everybody talks about music, but fashion is number one. But who knows? We haven't even delved to find out who is doing what. You see? So it is important. Now let me tell you something. In tourism, there is something that they call conferences, in exhibitions, something. There's a word for it. There are so many big conferences that people would have want to come and do it in Ghana because of our tag as peaceful destination.
Destination, yeah.
But we can't handle because we don't have the infrastructure to support it. We don't have the infrastructure to support it. They will come, they will not have the place to do it. They don't even have the hotels to.
They don't?
Exactly. Because we are, as a country, we have not sat down to decide that, look, we want to make this destination.
We haven't sat down to think about that?
No. Our tourism industry is like on a how do I put it? On a like autopilot. It's like it's not like we have not actually tailored, because if we are
but recently we heard it's the third industry that is generating so much for this.
It should be the number one.
Is it not a process?
It should be the number
Is it
one.
not a gradual process?
Gradual process by what? How many times? Look, why do you think that Ghana, the hotels are so expensive? Why do you think that even flight ticket is so expensive? Have you visited any tourist site before and checked the routes? You see, it must be a calculated attempt. How deliberate are we? Intentional are we in training even people who receives people in the clubs, in the beer bars, and whatever? We must be intentional about everything.
Great.
If we really, really want to make money from this tourism creative industry, it will be number one. This cocoa gold and all these things, we have been following it. All our gold, we don't get more than even 10% from it. You know.
Let me go to Uncle Ken before we go to the next batch of questions now. Uncle Ken, so Uncle Rex is here, and we're just trying to tease his political, knowledge and his political leanings, if you like, to the NDC. And he's mentioned a few things that I think may be of interest to you as well.
Yes. I've known Rex since the late 80s.
Oh, wow. Late 80s?
Yes, when I came back to Ghana. And one of the things that I felt so sorry about is I never got to be an executive producer to his project.
Okay.
Because he brought me a project that was so good when I had just come. But somehow along the way, it never materialized. And I've always regretted that.
Wow.
Because it was so good. And he went on to prove me even right for regretting. Because he made a lot of hits, ever since. And we've remained, friends. I admire him for one thing.
Okay.
Being very bold in coming out to say he supports a particular political party. And Rex has not shied away from that. How many people are able to do that in this country? Show that honesty, that I am for this party and I stand by it. Even though I might be head of an establishment where people think that establishment should not display any kind of political bias. Like Gamro.
Of course.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, but Rex has said he is for the NDC. And so be it. I think that's commendable, because I don't understand this thing in our society whereby people are persecuted for letting people know their political inclinations.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong. I honestly think there's absolutely nothing wrong with anybody coming out to let us know their political inclination. The most important thing is to work for the benefit of Ghana, wherever you are, and not for your partisan political interests.
Yeah.
Rex made the point in his submission that everything we do is politics. Yes,
Exactly.
everything we do is politics
Exactly.
in this world. I mean, that's a fact. Nobody can debate that. But in this country, most of the things we do are partisan politics.
Okay.
And
I like
that's the bane. The partisanship is what's killing us, not the politics. the partisanship. He was talking about us, a party in government not having enough time to execute their agenda. We all know that. And you sitting there, you guided him along. And even you supported him along, because you mentioned that you spent the first year putting together your government. You spent the second year trying to find out exactly what you do. The third year, you are back campaigning to come back to power. So there's no time to do any work.
You have 2 years to work.
Oh, less than that. Kwame, less than 2 years.
So you need to expedite action in everything you do.
And it's impossible in our system to achieve your ambitions. President Kufuor suggested a 7-year term. Rex, do you remember?
Yeah.
President Kufuor suggested, and I agreed with him totally. Because you see, we sit here in this country and we talk about countries like Rwanda. We talk about countries like Malaysia and the way they've advanced. Yet, we do not really chastise them for their non-democratic approach to what they have achieved. We think we are democratic.
We are not.
We think so. We think we are. Yet, what have we achieved? Those people, we praise their leaders are not democratic. But because they had a plan in place, they went ahead with it. And today, we are praising them. We are praising them. And we're chastising our democratic leaders in this country. So what do we want, Kwame? What do we want? The creative scene that we have today in this country. As for me, I've always made the point that when Mark was being touted for the position, I sat in this studio, Rex. I sat in this studio and I said to people out there, hey, folks, manage your expectations. He might be an industry player, but like Rex said, he has no authority when he gets into government. As a deputy, what are you talking about? He has no authority. I agree wholeheartedly with Rex. He has no authority. And yet we sit back, oh, he's one of us. He should have been going to do this, to do this. We need this, we need that, we do this, we need that. Please. The government of Ghana has so many responsibilities that entertainment comes secondary to the needs of the Ghanaian people. When you talk about housing, education, health, even in your family, your immediate family, Kwame, would you go out entertaining yourselves if you are in debt? You haven't paid your electricity bill. You haven't paid your school fees.
I think it goes beyond entertainment. It's the creative industry.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yes.
I understand. I understand where you're
I know it's a
from.
creative industry. It goes beyond that. But I'm saying, would you go out to entertain yourself if you haven't paid the creative industry that we talk about? Like Rex said, which he was spot on.
Yeah,
it's diverse.
True.
Mostly when we discuss the creative industry on radio, we limit it to music and films.
And that's all.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we limit the creative industry to. But that's not the creative industry. So you look at the fashion industry that he spoke about. If you are looking at the real people who make the money, it's that fashion industry. And Kwame, how many times have you heard the fashion people come out to scream their heads out? We need government to do this, we need government to do that, we need this, we need that, we need... They are working by themselves. The fashion people are working by themselves to make money. You're sitting there, some of the musicians are working by themselves to make money without resorting to waiting for government to come and bail them out. So I think we need to get our priorities right as an industry. Know what we want, know what we can do by ourselves, and not wait on government, because like we've all said, the government's duration in office is not long enough for the government to start going deep into outliers and finding out what I can do for this. Their mainstay is where they think the masses of the people will be covered.
Joy 99.7
And
FM and Uncle Rex.
Yeah. Well, you see, at the moment, a government thinks of the creative economy as entertainment. We've missed the point.
Yeah.
It is way business than entertainment.
Exactly.
You see, for example, Kwame, what you're wearing is designed and sewn, produced by a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
What I'm wearing is designed, produced by a Ghanaian. What we are not doing is, how do you, as a country that wants to create jobs for the youth, if you are not intentional and make sure that as many people as possible go into this industry in terms of their education, and then you create the enabling environment, how do you bring Obroni Wewu to Ghana and expect Ghanaian fashion
to
thrive? How? As a state policy, encourage your people to go into this fashion stuff, produce for the local consumption and for export. We sit here, the head office of the AFTA is in Ghana. So we have 54 African countries that we can project, develop, and train our people to produce for this vast market. It must be a policy.
Will that be affordable for the ordinary Ghanaian to patronize?
Of course. If you are producing in mass, it have impact on its price. It's as simple as that. The more you produce, the cheaper it is.
But Rex, a lot of people won't venture into that field because of the costs that they have to endure, like Kwame is saying.
So
the government's
the production costs would translate into
the governments need to put certain measures in place.
So that is what I'm saying. Like, for example, if government can say, oh, we'll go and import agricultural equipment, so the farmers can rent the equipment to go and plow their lands and whatever, and pay something small. So that, how can't you do the same for the creative industry? How many musicians will have to have their own studios? Is that necessary? If you are a film producer, do you need to have your own equipment all the time? Can't we have a space that we have top class equipment? People go and rent to produce quality productions, feed our market and export. After all, we are English speaking country, isn't it? Can't we produce soap operas? We have a place, one or two places that even in this Ghana, everything that belongs to government, people don't take care of it.
Exactly.
So government should support a private entity to get this equipment. You rent it out. It's a business. Rent it out for people to get. What government is doing is to ensure quality, so that quality can stand a test of time, can be exported anywhere in the world. If we are talking about a proper creative economy, we must have a film marketing company in this country, so that their job is to look for. We have over 20,000 TV stations around the globe.
A company came down to Ghana to sign an agreement with the National Film Authority, Pixel Ray Company. They were going to put up film studios here.
Oh, please. You see?
And I hear it is still in the offing.
You see?
It will remain in the offing.
You see, let me tell you something. This idea of always waiting for somebody to come from outside to do something for you, that is our problem. How much is equipment for a good quality film? How much?
It's a public-private partnership.
That is what I'm saying, that whether it's public-private partnership, can't we do public-private partnership in Ghana?
Okay.
That is run by Ghanaians. So at the end of the day, the company, even if it's a private, that company comes into agreement with Ghana government. You give them a soft loan, they finish payback. And you see, the whole architecture of this creative economy must be looked at and must be done properly, so that in the end, what was the results? We want to create jobs, right? So as to be able to also raise money for the country.
Exactly.
So if we don't look at it from that angle and we look at it from the individual, for example, how do you go and take money and give to a musician that go and do production? He'll go and buy a flashy car.
Exactly.
So you give the money to professionals who understand this business. It's a business.
And the rest, I'll come back to you to ask about the impact of your party on the creative art industry here on Joy 99.7 FM. That sunny day, beautiful piece of music. Now let me tell you that yes, we have conquered Ghana with you, escaped with you to the western region, gone to the savannah safari together, and I hope that you remember the Afak conquest, the kayaking on the Volta Lake, and all the many other adventures and fun trips that we had together. Those were very educative, fun, and memorable discoveries of Ghana that we made together. Now it's time to take it a notch higher. We make new discoveries, create new experiences, and relive night life back in the day with the Eastern Camp Adventure. Now, this time, we will pitch camp somewhere serene on top of the Bree Mountain, experience the adventure of tent accommodation, sit by the fireside, and relive those typical Ghanaian moments with Anansi stories, jungle party with barbecue, Jama nights, movie nights, and we'll also visit the Asinima waterfalls and Wukugwa, among other historic places We will also spend time at the Safari Valley Eco Park with a good lunch with just 1,500 Ghana cedis. That covers your transportation, access to tourist site, food board, meals, and everything else that will be covered when you pay this amount of money. Save a spot now. Pay your money via 05930388842. That is the Momo number. 05930388842. And the name on the account is Daniel Boyfio. 05930388842. And be part of the Eastern Camp Adventure. Or you can also call 0302216540 for more information. Still, here on Joy 99.7, we have in the studio Rex Omar, who is a musician, a politician. If you have any question for him, 055-1111-997. I also have right here Uncle Ken, who is a broadcaster here with us at the multimedia group Joy FM. Now, let me come back to you, Rex Omar. How do you think the NDC government has impacted the creative industry?
The NDC government, if you go back to, say, 1992, just like any other government apart from Nkrumah's government.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's by our culture or whatever. The focus has never been on the creative industry. I will not sit here and say, oh, NDC has done marvelously well for the creative industry.
Okay.
It was all about, like, when you are eating and like you finish your food and you are full, then you are going to eat a dessert or something like that. So our industry was treated like a luxurious industry. So
ancillary,
it's ancillary
yes.
industry.
Okay.
That is how all governments have treated the creative industry, because they did not understand its contribution. How? For example, all the media houses in Ghana falls within the creative economy.
Exactly.
How do you, a country like Ghana, give licenses, a small country like Ghana, and you have over 400 radio stations in Ghana? How do you expect them to be viable? How? There are so many radio stations holding licenses, they can't even afford to pay their staff. How do you expect them to use other people's music and pay for it? Even the licensing, they are not able to pay for the licenses. If the industry is being focused on, go to statistics. They don't put the media houses as part of the creative industry. There are so many aspects of our economy that falls within the creative industry that is not listed there. So they'll come and tell you, oh, what is the creative industry contribution to the GDP? Because as soon as you mention creative industry, they say music and film. This thing must change.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, whether it is NDC, my government, now, if we go back, I cannot really pinpoint, because if I pinpoint National Theatre, it was dashed to us by Chinese.
The Chinese government.
Ghana government did not spend anything on it, apart from giving land.
Yeah.
You understand? So, laws, for example, say the PNDC law that 110 that brought the Copyright Act. That was one of the things that NDC did. Okay? And then President Kufuor came and we changed it and it became what it is now. But if I would say that any government has really zero in to the creative economy as a center board for development of this country, none of the parties have done it. It is now that NDC wants to do it. If you go back to our 2020 People's Manifesto, it is in it.
Yes,
I
saw
know
all
that. I know that this new 2024 manifesto will come. I know that there's going to be a little bit change, but basically it's not going to change that much.
Okay.
Because if the main focus is to create jobs for the youth and to develop this country, any serious government that is forward-looking must look into the creative economy. Other peoples have succeeded in it, and Ghana can also do that.
Okay. I remember when President Mahama assumed office, he merged the creative industry with the tourism industry, and that gave us a ministry. Prior to that, we didn't have a ministry. We were merged sort of initially with the Ministry of Information, at a point in time with the Chieftaincy Ministry and all that. Now, it got to a time when Mahama came in and we had Ministry of Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture. Yes. And then we had that particular ministry.
I understand. You see, I'm not one of the politicians who will come and sit here and creating a ministry without empowering the ministry to do the reason why it was created. To me, it's just a political.
I was even coming there. I was coming to ask if that particular move was.
It's not a matter of creating a ministry. Why? PNDC time, didn't we have National Commission on Culture?
Yeah.
National Commission on Culture was doing better than the tourism ministry that we have.
Oh, really?
Because National Commission on Culture, they had all these centers for national culture around the country. Every region had some. And I remember those days, they themselves were able to organize shows, to put musicians on platform for them to perform. And then they were paying them not a commercial fee, but it was a platform to expose new talents. If you remember Meet Me There and all those things.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And those days, they were doing this UTNA program, cultural exchange program, that they were sending Ghanaian videos to other African countries and showing other African countries. They were doing something. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, those days we have the Art Council, so and so, National Theatre, Bibi Groma, blah, 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 Ghana National Symphony Orchestra. Where are all these things? So it's not a matter of forming a ministry.
Haven't we benefited from this ministry that was created for us in 2012?
If you say benefited,
has it not helped shape the industry in a way?
Look, it has helped in shaping the industry in a way, but in a very painfully slow manner. What I'm talking about an accelerated development, not some business as usual. Really seriously. Anybody who is listening to me, if you care to understand what the creative economy is doing for other countries, just Google. Go and read. Because all these people who are developing softwares, Facebook and Twitter, and they all fall within the creative economy.
Yeah, they are part of the industry.
You understand what I'm saying? So the whole situation is, in the 21st century, if as a developing country, we want to move very fast.
Yeah.
We should look into this creative economy very, very seriously. Because that is where a lot of the youth can be provided jobs.
Okay.
That is where a lot of women, and they create their own business and employ other people. That is the beauty aspect of it. The burden will not be on government. Look, who said government should give anybody money? The tourism ministry itself, there's so much money around the globe. So long as you put your priorities right, there's so many funds that you can access to support this industry. There are funds all over the place. But you need to create an enabling environment to ensure that somebody brings his foreign direct investment and he is secured. The creative economy is driven by private capital. But the enabling environment must be created to give confidence so that private people can bring their money and to be sure that they will get their monies back.
Awesome. The NDC made this statement in its 2012 manifesto, says that we will commence the rehabilitation of abandoned regional centers of the Centers for National Culture and establish district centers of national culture. This particular provision was in the 2012 manifesto, but it wasn't fulfilled. How did you feel about that?
Are you talking about 2012 manifesto?
Yes.
But why are you talking about 2012 manifesto?
No, I'm just talking about the things that your party did. We are assessing your party's performance, and you just mentioned.
Let me explain something. I mean, if you go to 2012, 2016, 2020, I rather want us to talk about 2020. Because 2012,
because between 2012 and 2016, your government was in power.
I explained to you that
Yeah.
both political parties
Yes.
were not giving attention to the creative economy the way it should be.
Yeah.
That is why I put emphasis on the 2020 NDC manifesto. It is now that gradually.
But the 2020, because you didn't assume power, then
Yes.
you're not able to implement this
Yes.
particular directive
Yes.
or item in your manifesto.
Yes.
I'm mentioning 2012 because that was around the same time that that ministry was created and certain things were put in place. The Creative Arts Council was
see,
put together and all that. So it comes back to how you feel about the fact that these things were promised and were not delivered on. I want to build up a point to the national theatres that were also promised to us by the NPP.
So, for example,
Yeah.
what I want us to avoid is game of equalization.
No, we're not doing that.
So,
We're talking about venues. That's why I just.
for example,
Yeah.
if we are to go back in terms of what NDC has actually done,
Yeah.
International Conference Center was built by NDC. National Theatre, even though it was a loan, it was a Chinese support, it was done by NDC, PNDC time. And then when you come back, this International Tourism Center was built.
I know every government has done something for the industry.
But what I'm trying to say here is we must go beyond those things.
Okay.
We want to see visible things that is bringing the creative economy and tourism into the center, so as to be able look at only one angle, that government decided that every December they want to do this thing that we created, that
December in GH?
MPP came to change the name.
December in GH.
December in GH.
You created that?
We created Panafest. Panafest,
But
Google.
Panafest is still celebrated.
Panafest is still celebrated, but Panafest could have been bigger.
It can still run alongside December
Exactly.
in
So
GH.
what I'm trying to say here
And it
is,
still runs.
what I'm trying to say here
Yes.
is, if we were taking these things serious, we sit here, Afro Nation comes here, one project, Afro Nation, somebody's creation, it comes to Ghana, makes the money and go back, all right? I'm saying that if we zero into the creative economy, so many projects can be. The other time I was talking with somebody, have you heard of the word Umoja?
Yes.
Umoja is a South African creation.
Yes. I remember they came
They
here.
go all
the
over
Africa
the
Umoja.
globe.
Yeah. I watched that.
And you know what they do? They are marketing South Africa as a positive cultural whatever. Okay? Destination. And they also bring in the foreign exchange and also create jobs for the people.
Yeah.
So can you imagine that we have a Bibi Gruma and other new creations, and Lebo White, and even our own
Chief Moomin is going
our own
the world.
our own
Which of them?
George Quay. We have the talent too.
Yeah.
All we need is, for example, if a product is created, it's a Ghanaian cultural product, exportable. How are we supporting these people to export their products so that they can bring in the needed foreign money? And if this product that is being created has employed people, isn't it part of job creation?
Sure.
So there are so many ways that we can do some of these things.
Understood.
So I'm saying that yes, infrastructure is very important. But if we take the creative economy as a whole and say, in the next 20 years, Ghana, we've done our research and we believe that this can create a lot of jobs for the youth and women and also to bring in money. Let's look at it and it will shock you.
Good points made. But let me still dwell a bit on the venues for our events and all that.
Kwame.
Now, so if I should start from, I'll come to you. Start from where I started earlier on. So the NDC promised rehabilitating the cultural centers. That was in 2012. It did not do that. The MPP in 2016 promised to build 9 ultra-modern theaters across the country. It didn't happen. 2022 December, we were promised 5 amphitheaters. 5. As we speak now, we've not seen any of them yet. Realistically, Uncle Rex, is it... Okay, let me ask you.
Doesn't it come back to the same thing I'm telling you?
Why is it difficult for us to pursue some of these things?
It's
and complete
difficult
them?
because our policymakers are yet to understand that the creative economy is an it's a way forward. Yeah. It's a money making machine. So they are handling it piecemeal. So it's like they are not actually coming to terms with the fact that the creative economy is that huge and must be planned in such a way that at the end of the day, it is creating jobs, it is bringing the money, and it's enhancing the image of the country public globally. You see, so if you bring it down to somebody who said you will build. What was the sizes of the national national?
Which one? The culture
center. What was it?
The capacity.
The capacity. What was the capacity?
I think some of them are 1,500 or so.
No.
Oh? None of them was 1,500. You see, and if go and look this day and age, 2024 we are in 2024.
Yeah.
Go and see some of the so-called amphitheaters that MPP says they are building. It's laughable.
1,500.
Laughable. I mean, what are you talking about?
Have you seen any of them yet?
I've seen something that they are doing in Kumasi, and Kumasi Culture Center. There's already an amphitheater there.
They are building an amphitheater, and Uncle Ken, you are saying something that they say amphitheater
because they have an amphitheater at the Kumasi Culture Center. They call it Ada Jabrimo or something like that. All right, and their MPP is building another one around the same capacity. What is the point? What is the point? Just so as to be able to say, oh, I said I was going to build this and I've done it. Look, we have to get serious in this country for once. Because other people are doing it. Why do you think that now people in this country, they say, oh, we are doing a package for people to go to Dubai. Now Dubai has become a destination that everybody wants to go and spend its money.
Yeah.
This place was a desert. Somebody decided that we will use tourism to make our money. And isn't Ghana a better tourism destination than Dubai? We have all the castles and all the things that we need. God has given us almost everything. The rest is how we sit down as a country. And I know that my party is listening. If we want to change the game with our 24-hour economy, these are the areas. I know it's going to be long term, but there are certain things that we can do as quickly as possible to create jobs for the youth, training, creating the jobs, and see visible achievements. Not putting something in the manifesto and at the end of the day, just like MPP has done over and over and over. And the one good thing that people do not know, when you come and you do something meaningful, visible for the creative industry, the creative economy people will market you.
Great. Rex Omar, musician, politician here, Joy 99.7 FM, 055-1111-997. That's the WhatsApp number. Uncle Ken, before I go to speak to Chief Mumin, let me come to you, Uncle Ken.
Chief?
He's on phone. He has an assignment. He's on phone. So let me come to you before I go to,
before you go to
Chief. Or let me go to him before I come to you.
Go to Chief.
Go to Chief first. Yes. I want to hear him.
Chief Mumin.
Yes, my brother.
Oh. My brother, welcome back to Ghana.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much.
And I hear you were in Abu Dhabi. You were at the conference, the Conference for Education and Arts, right?
Yes. I was at the UNESCO World Conference on Art and Culture Education. UNESCO is championing a whole global campaign for governments to ensure that art education is very primary in our educational curriculum. So they convene ministers of education as well as other cultural leaders from around the world to deliberate and to agree on an action plan to ensure that art education becomes integral. Art and culture education becomes integral in the educational curriculum. And so I was able to also present a few of my ideas, and as usual, I also did a little performance.
Yes, I've seen the framework actually, and it entails a lot. Just hoping that our government will also use some of these provisions to fashion out better policies for arts and culture education in this country.
Absolutely, and one of the resolutions of the conference was Priority Africa. So UNESCO has all of this campaign they call, it's more or less like a policy. It's called Priority Africa. So it's one of UNESCO's priority areas where UNESCO gives a lot of priority to issues of Africa and interventions in Africa. So as part of this framework, one of the things that they want to also see is how they can promote culture and arts education in Africa, and and Abu Dhabi has really also expressed interest, in supporting various African countries as well. So Africa can take advantage of such global opportunities, also invest in it, in arts, but also see how we can leverage these global opportunities.
Now, narrowing this down to Ghana, as in how we approach culture and arts education, how far do you think we fed with this?
Well, I know that there was, in times past, we really had quite a vibrant arts and culture education in our schools. I know that the conversation these days is that it seems there is, more or less like a slowdown of culture and art education in our educational curriculum. So I guess it is something that we should be very interested in. We hear a lot about STEM education, science, technical, STEM education, right? But there's a whole campaign for us to make it STEAM education.
Exactly.
It's about the science, it's about technical, but it's also about arts, education, because you want to give people a well-rounded education and to allow people to find their potential, uncover their talent. And the thing about also art and culture education is that it makes you nimble and adaptable, and you can do art education, find yourself in banking institutions, scientific institutions, engineering institutions, cultural institutions, and even thrive. In fact, there's a going saying in the School of Performing Arts that majority of the people who come out from the School of Performing Arts in Lagos do not actually find themselves in performing arts. They find themselves in other traditional areas, and they excel because the kind of education, the exposure, the hands-on approach, that they adopt in teaching them is their life skills, the creative thinking, entrepreneurial abilities to put things together, which a lot of people are, how to organize things, make things happen, is part of the orientation that students go through when they go to the School of Performing Arts. So that makes them excel in diverse industries. So I think that as we begin to talk about a lot of these, and emotional, in fact, let me talk about emotional intelligence, because that's also another of the things that you learn, with arts education and going through the School of Performing Arts, as well as other arts education, So you need that emotional intelligence as well to thrive in this world that we find ourselves. So I think that there's a need for us to be deliberate. We've heard about STEM education, but we need to be pushing STEAM education more. So it's not like we are prioritizing science and technical education to the disadvantage of art education, which is what we see even with the University of Ghana. So all the science, faculties have all their new buildings coming up, the engineering, but the School of Performing Arts has been grappling with its long auditorium that we've been trying to build for a very long time, for almost 20 years now, and it's still there, moribund, looking very crushed. Meanwhile, this is the school that attracts more foreign direct investments. And I actually feel that the potential for the University of Ghana to be a center for art and culture education for African culture and heritage is untapped. And this was a vision of Nkrumah when Nkrumah set up the School of the Institute of African Studies. It was for the University of Ghana to be a bastion of African history and heritage studies. And the University of Ghana can attract literally thousands of students from not just, across Africa, but around the world, who would come to really research and, study and participate in art, cultural, historical education and all of that. So that's a huge potential, that if we had the facility, if we had the strategy in place, it would have opened up, because Ghana is already recognized for that. If we do not take advantage of the brand, that the little excitement around brand Ghana, and be strategic to implement ideas and policies and plans that will leverage this Ghana brand, then it will just be a fanfare, and every December will come and dancing and go. But the real economic value that we have to drive from it, the real impact that it has to have on our country, will be lost on us.
Thank you, Chief Moomin. But Uncle Rex Omar is here today, and we've been talking to him about his political side. Any question for him?
Oh, I thought I was just getting started. The way you just said thank you, I was supposed to be in the studio. Apologies to our listeners. Today has been an unexpectedly, unpredictable day. But I thought I would join online, starting with this phone call. So these are just my introductory comments. So the way
I know, right?
Me,
no. I'm like, thanking you for the introductory comments. We'll look at you. Please, Uncle Rex is here. Speak to him.
Yes, yeah. I mean, salute to Uncle Rex. Uncle Rex was, hitting the nail on the head. And this is one of the favorite topics that we've been discussing here in the studio for many years now. How successive governments have not prioritized the creative industry enough. And we've said it over and over again that it is a low-hanging fruit. The reality is that within the next 50 years, we're not going to compete with China when it comes to manufacturing, right? We're not going to compete with Silicon Valley when it comes to IT and digital innovation, if you like. We're not going to compete at that with Germany, for example, when it comes to engineering. So when you look at the value that we can produce and export around the world, beyond our natural resources, which we have been mining for centuries, what is our competitive advantage? What is the low-hanging fruit that we can leverage to bring in billions of dollars into our economy to ensure that we help build prosperity? And the creative industry, it's a low-hanging fruit with little investment, with a bit more attention, with a bit more deliberate effort. We can create cultural products that can attract a lot of foreign direct investments and foreign currencies back into our country, right? So for me, I think that Uncle Rex has, and I like the fact that he's approached it from a very objective point of view. And he even admitted that under the NDC government, it wasn't even done, and that it is now that the talk, is going on within, the policy circles within NDC, to make sure that if there's another NDC government, they would implement ideas and plans to ensure that the creative industry grows. I recognize that if you have been at zero for a very long time and you move from 0 to 1, at least there's a progress, although we should be moving from 0 to 100, right? So we can also not give ourselves a bit of a tap on the back, just a faint tap of the back, that in the past decade, at least the activism that we've been, participating in, the campaigns we've been participating in is beginning to centralize the conversation about the creative industry. So you see that government response. So in the NDC time under John Mahama, there was the 2 million Ghana cedis that was given. That was the first time we heard about something like that. Of course, in the grand scheme of things, that's not money, right? But something like that had not happened. So from that time onwards, you recognize that now government talks about the creative industry in their budget. The President's State of the Nation address, I don't know about this particular one, I don't think he mentioned it, but in previous ones we feature. So there's beginning to be a consciousness amongst, the population, among the policy environment, even if it is lip service, we are getting to a point that acknowledgement is beginning to be there. And people say that one of the greatest success stories of this MPP administration is actually in the creative industry. If you are pointing out some of the things that they've succeeded in, it is, the Year of Return initiatives, it is, some of the transformations they're doing around the creative industry, the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, which I was there for the first time since it was commissioned recently when we did the Joy FM Ghana Heritage Month launch, right? And let me just chip this in that I was so sad about one thing. There's one aspect of the park that, the audience is like benches that people sit. And I couldn't believe the amount of litter that was found in this area. People just drank water and pure water and they just threw it. And there were dustbins around. So I think that if this, coming event cast their shadows, if this is the way the place is going to be, trust me, in the next couple of years, we'll run down the newly renovated Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. So we have to be very particular about these things. And I want to tax the leadership of the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum to be very particular about these things. That you may think that a little letters here and there may not be nothing, but it, for me, tells you about the maintenance culture and that there isn't an agency to keep this place prim and proper. I know we talk about the Dubais and all of that. You go to their major tourism venues, you can see the seriousness with which they attend to keeping the place, crisp and clean and, accessible and available. So I just wanted to sound this alarm. Anyway, so I was mentioning that, yes, there may have been a few interventions, but we all know that radical transformation is yet to happen. And for me, I always tell my greatest challenge I pose to any government is that when you come and you tell us that you have transformed the creative arts and tourism industry to the biggest sector of the economy, then we know that something radical, some serious thinking, some serious actions have happened. So far, our economy hasn't really changed. There's still extractive industry, there's still the services industry, even though the creative industry can be part of the services industry and all of that. But we can make this industry the biggest foreign exchange enough for this, economy. And we want a government that will be as ambitious as that and make a bold declaration, like how the vice president has said that his is digitalization. We want a presidential candidate who will come and say, mine is the creative industry. That I want to transform our creative industry in such a way that it will become the biggest economy, it will employ millions of people, and it will grow our GDP by this number of percentage. When you start with that level of ambition, then you know that, okay, you can hold someone to tax. And we should invest. And when I say invest, not small chicken change. Even me at my basic level, the amount of money I'm trying to raise internationally for my project is even more than the entire allocation to the Ministry of Tourism, right? But, how do we create billion-dollar products if we do not, invest hundreds of millions of dollars, in producing the product and in marketing? Rex Omar talked about Umoja. We started work by how many years ago? Almost a decade now. And that was the whole plan. If I tell you the kind of work I did just to try and get the establishment, across several administrations to buy into this work by vision, and kind of use it as a selling point, for Ghana's history and heritage and tourism potential on an international scale, you'd be surprised. But of course, I recognize that it is activism that is beginning to yield results. And now we're even in some conversations about some strategic position, especially with our recent international expedition. So I recognize the fact that, yes, there may be little progress, but that major transformation that we need is yet to happen. And probably we should use this election season to hold the politicians to task and let them commit themselves so that when they come into power, we can also, hold them accountable.
Thank you very much. Finally, thank you very much, Chief Mumin, for your time. Let me leave
but
you
I'll be on Zoom.
Oh, okay. So please stay on Zoom and then let's come back and talk about Ghana. Thank you very much.
My greetings to Uncle Ken and to Rex Omar.
Okay, thank you. Chief Mumin, the playwright, poet, also adding his voice to the conversation. You can send in your questions, your comments, 055-1111-997. And this one is from Elon Belland, says, Uncle Rex, good evening to you. Yes, this is one of your fans, listening to you now. Now, let me read this message. Says, from the taxpayer, extending the governance to 6 years isn't a bad idea, Rex. However, I'm imagining enduring another 2 years of the current government. Okay, so 6 years under any government is a no. Okay. Thank you very much for your comment there. You can also send in yours now. Now, Uncle Rex, let me come back to you and so earlier on, I was talking to you about you holding position, and you made your points clear in that regard. Now, let me zero in on something that is of interest to a lot of people. I think even Chief Mumin mentioned that was the 2 million Ghana cedis that was given to the industry some years ago. Do you think that particular amount of money given to us helped the industry?
It was not given to us. It was given to Musica. I mean, you see,
Musica is part of the industry, right?
Musica is part of the industry. But you see, Kwame, that is why, this thing happened in Professor Mills's time. Okay, so it was the first time government has projected the music industry into the budget and allocated 2 million Ghana cedis for. But here we are not talking about music industry, Kwame. That is why I want us to elevate this conversation. We are not talking about music industry.
It's all part of the industry.
It is only a fraction of the industry.
Exactly.
Okay? And if I'm not saying that the 2 million that was given was not good. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm looking at a scenario where a country, look at the economic situation, Quagma, we found ourselves in. Okay? If we want to move very fast, I'm talking about the holistic approach to what we call the creative economy, which feeds tourism. There is nowhere, anywhere in the world that tourism has thrived without a very vibrant creative economy.
Exactly.
So we have to have a holistic approach to this industry, which music is only one aspect of it. So that the connectivity will be there.
Okay.
So the whole situation is, yes, 2 million Ghana cedis was given to Musica
for impact assessment.
Of the music industry.
Of the music industry, yeah.
Of the music industry. And even when that thing happened, the money that was given to KPMG, they did their impact assessment and they finished, they submitted, they done what?
They said the music industry then contributed 0.20% to the economy, to the GDP.
Then what? That was the end.
Then we know how much the music industry contributed then to the
because
GDP.
The whole situation is, when you say, even Ghana, we use terminologies, there's a music industry. Okay, music industry. So what was the contribution of the studios, it is interconnected.
Yeah.
Okay. So the studios, the media houses, the writers, the bloggers, were all these things factored into it. So until we have a holistic approach to this whole thing, we will not find a solution. We will not find a solution.
I'm not even sure we have figures for the entire creative industry.
We don't.
We don't have.
So, for example, let me give you. You see, creative industry is what feeds tourism.
Yeah.
And typical example is December. December in GH. Most of the activities and the events and whatever is music, or either something else, that fashion show or whatever. All these things are the things. So if the Ministry of Tourism or the tourism industry is a factory, the creative industry is its raw material.
Exactly.
So if you don't look at it from that perspective, and you single out, just because some few musicians are making noise and you go and give them 2 million Ghana cedis to go and do impact assessment, you haven't achieved anything. For example, he was talking about Nkrumah's mausoleum.
Yeah, Chief, yeah.
The problem is, why should it be a civil service to run that organization, that place? Why? Government invest in it. Why can't you give it to a private management group with an agreement? Do you know that most of the hotels in Ghana, Kempinski, is a management company? The owners of Ghana Kempinski is different from the owners on another Kempinski. Kempinski is a management group that manages hotels. Professional management group. So you can have various tourism sites and centers that has been invested either by PPP or by government or whatever. The fact that government invested in it should not mean that civil service or civil servants must run it. They will run it down. Because at the end of the day, everything that belongs to Ghana, nobody cares. How many times have government given loans to industry people or whatever, and they've paid back? Ghana Sika, the same way. So it is something that must be looked at as business.
Okay.
Because if a private person is the one that was, or if there was a private person that came to agreement with government, say PPP, and they have built the Nkrumah Mausoleum, trust me, it would have been run differently. Because private businesses, why is it that a lot of private businesses succeed in this country, but government businesses do not succeed? Because when it is run by government, the people that have been employed, they think that is Ghana there.
How do we change this mentality?
Change it by allowing private people to manage it. It's simple as that.
Okay. Uncle Ken. Oh, yeah.
Because the private people are also Ghanaians, isn't it?
Exactly, they are.
Yes, this is a country that has been able to coin this kind of term. No, but that is our psyche. That is our psyche. That is why Ghana Airways collapsed. That is why all the government hotels collapsed. That is why now see PBC buying blah blah cocoa board. Everything that is government. Look, GBC should have been one of the biggest. GBC was there before CNN. Why is GBC what it is? Because it's being run by people and it's government. GBC was there years before Joy came or Multimedia came. Why is GBC the way it is? Because it is civil servants running it.
Okay, Uncle Rex. Uncle Ken, please come in.
Uncle Rex has said a lot. You know, this GBC thing. Why is BBC still running efficiently? BBC is government owned in the UK. Why is it still running efficiently? Because systems are in place.
Exactly.
And you can't just go there and mess up without being taken off. Kwame.
Uncle Ken.
There are so many issues.
A lot.
You highlighted to Rex
the
issue of venues that his party promised. And then you came onto the MPP's promise of how many did you say they were going to spread over the country?
9.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I sat in this studio and I said it was not government's duty to go and put up those venues. So why do they put it
Whose
in their
duty
manifestos?
is it?
Look, back in the 60s and 70s, all the cinemas that were in this country were privately owned. Privately owned. An entrepreneur decided to put cinemas in every community. There was a cinema in Kokomemle. There was a cinema in Newtown. There was a cinema in Mamprobi. There was a cinema in Adabraka. There was a cinema in Osu. All spread around the country. In Kumasi, Rivoli and so on were in Kumasi.
And Odeon.
Odeon? Kumasi Odeon, yes, as well. Here too, there was an Odeon in Accra. And they were run by private people for so long, provided entertainment to the cinema-going public. Albeit back then, most of the cinemas were imported into the country. And because they were on 35mm reels, you did not need to have more than one set of a film of about, say, 10 or 12 reels to do the circuit across the country. So everybody got to see a film when it was released back then. You know, why did those cinemas collapse? That's the big question. Some attribute it to the coups that prevented nightlife. Because most of those cinemas were open air theaters in the communities, apart from Orion, which was a closed entity and did the 12 p.m. as it was popularly known back in the day. Apart from Orion, most of the other cinemas were open air. Globe, Orion, Offer, all these cinemas were open air, but people patronized the films. The coups came on, and nightlife was curtailed for a period. And then what even made matters worse was the advent of technology. Technology also came to destroy in our society the going out culture that we had, because now people had machines in their homes and will sit as a family and watch a film at home instead of going out to watch those movies. So what did these entrepreneurs do? Those who owned these theaters do? They needed their monies. So they rented the places out to people who could give them money. Who are the people who could give them money? The churches. Most of these cinemas were rented out to churches. And today we've come back crying out for venues to show cinema, to show movies or stage performances for artists and stuff. And if we are asking government to do these things, Kwame, we are heading nowhere, because we have all agreed in this country that any business that government owns, like Rex said, and what was your term? Also what Fred is saying? That's what's happening to us. Yet we are asking government to do these things.
You see, that is why I'm saying that. Kwame, right now, even if you look at what Uncle Ken is saying, now we've gone beyond that, because right now, due to globalization, when you have a cultural product, two things you need. The product must be, in terms of quality,
must be good.
Must be good to be able to stand a test of time anywhere in the world. The next thing, how to market it.
Yeah.
So our Ghana market is a very small market, but you can have institutions in Ghana that has mastered in marketing, that they can market cultural products globally. Some of them, I mean, Netflix and that, all these soap operas that we show on our TV stations, do you think that is the owners that are marketing them? No. There are companies that any type of film you're looking for, they'll get it for you. So we have to project. We have to be futuristic. Look at the global terrain and take advantage of it. We have the products, we have the talents. Education, as Mumin said, education is very critical. Go to Legon. When people are going to do performing arts, people even laugh at them.
Oh yeah.
Dondology. Why?
Yeah.
Because the way we have neglected the whole place. You see, if we are to put premium on it, if we have to showcase that, look, right now the creative economy and the tourism is the number one earner. Trust me, things will change. Because if you produce a film now, all you need is the good quality cameras and the directors and the good stories and whatever it is, whether it's series or whatever. Just produce. When the product is finished, you have the Ghanaian market and the global market. If you don't know how to market it, that is why you need marketing companies that one or two resource them. If it's a soft loan you gave them, it's not for free. You know, if it is equipment that you invested in as a government or whatever, or a private person invested in, equipment is rented. You rent it and you pay. You know, there should be standards. There must be education. There must be leadership. We have to reorient people who are operating in the creative industry. There must be a total holistic approach to this whole thing, because we are lacking behind.
Well, Joy, when we know Bemo, and Pacho, we na fe ye mo we ni tofa when you make Ghana month ho you into no we hano.
All I'm saying is, as an industry, you see, unfortunately for the creative industry, it's not like some people liken the creative industry to the education ministry, the health ministry, people whose aim is focused in one direction. Give the Ghanaians an education. Give the Ghanaians a good health system. But where the creative industry is, it's diverse.
Very diverse.
Very diverse. So many entities that come together to form the creative industry. And everybody has his or her own interests to seek. So it becomes a very difficult thing for that industry to be together and push an agenda. What you would have are splinter groups pushing their various agendas. That is also a problem for this industry, Rex.
You see, let me explain something to you. That is where we make a mistake, and I keep saying this. Look, Uncle Ken, in this country, we have sports, right? And we have various disciplines in sports.
In sports.
Okay.
But which is the one that gets the most
Ghana
attention?
has decided to put attention on football. Ghana has decided that. If you go to other countries, go to India, they put emphasis on hockey. Ghana decided cricket. Ghana decided to push football, soccer.
Yeah.
And because Ghana has decided, it's a decision that Ghana made. How much money do we spend every year on soccer?
A lot.
If we are to spend...
And what are our gains?
And what are our gains? If we are to spend 10% of the amount of money we spend every year on soccer in the creative economy, trust me.
Oh, you also agree?
Because, look, we have to
We've
put
had a
our
number of people
we have to put our priorities right. We need this country. We need to put our priorities right.
But Rex, when you talk about
what you are saying,
money,
let me explain something to you. You cannot fault the different disciplines in the creative industry with their wranglings and whatever. You know what brings this? ignorance. Everybody gets up, wants to go to become a musician, whether he's got a talent or not. Somebody is just a songwriter, but he doesn't know that songwriting alone
cannot make him a musician.
No. Songwriting alone can even make him
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So there are people who live their life by just songwriting.
Yes.
And other people also singing the songs. The division of labor. In this country, the writer goes to studio to produce. He is the singer. He is the manager.
Everybody
He is the
wants to do
marketer. He is everything.
Maybe the person is multi-talented.
You know?
No, but
Kwame, even if you are multi-talented, you may not necessarily understand the business aspect.
Exactly.
You may be able to do the production or the talent aspect. But talent alone is not enough.
Yeah, the business aspect is important.
Look, with money, I can pick anybody walking on the street. So long as you have the nice physique, I can pick you, train you, write a song and produce you, market it to become a hit, make you a star. Everybody can sing, go. So long as you train the person, everybody can sing. What than the voice, the support voice is unique.
Rex, I know the name. I know the.
You see, look,
certain people.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Okay, so please let's wrap up on that one.
So if it's a product you are creating,
Yeah.
products can be created.
Yes.
But when a product is created, it must be unique in such a way that it can be
It must
marketed.
have quality.
It must have quality.
Yes.
And it must be marketed, branded
Great.
and marketed.
Great. Uncle Rex, before we move on to Ghana Month and other topics this evening, let me ask you about Gamro and the license matter. Do we now have a license?
We do not have a license, and we come back to the same square one.
We don't have it
We still
yet?
don't have a license.
What is the delay?
Why? Yes.
Why is the delay?
To me,
the Attorney General's department.
exactly. They believe that they can withhold the license to allow people to use other people's music for free. And their reason is because some members of Gamro has taken Gamro to court. So until we settle the case, what has that got to do with the license? The other time I heard that they are saying that, oh, the license is issued to the board and because you don't have a board. Who said so? Let me explain to you. In this country, companies are treated as individuals. You are issuing the license to the Ghana Music Rights Organization. You are not issuing it to a board. So, okay, the license is 5 years, and the tenure of boards are 4 years. So, if a board A come, and Gamro has a license, and their time elapsed and they are going, do they go with the license? It's not here nor there. You are issuing the license to the Ghana Music Rights Organization, which is a corporate entity.
Exactly.
What are they requesting of you to do now?
They are requesting that we should take the case from court.
Okay.
Settled.
Are you taking any steps to do
The
that?
question is, if Gamro has not taken anybody to court,
Okay.
and Gamro member has taken Gamro to court,
Okay.
how can we bring the case back?
Okay.
You see, so the whole situation, Gamro have over 5,000 members. So are you saying that as a regulator, anytime a member of Gamro takes Gamro to court, you are going to seize our license? Is that how you run?
Has this affected you in any way?
Of course.
You still distribute your royalties to
It has really
right
affected
owners.
us because when the staff goes round to collect money, some of them, they are beaten. So if you go out and they beat you once or twice, will you go again? And they go around saying that because the Attorney General say you don't have a license, so why should you pay? Already now people don't want to pay. That is the problem.
Gamro matters. Today we didn't come here to talk Gamro. So just by the way, Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. Show brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, superstar multi-fruit drink. Show produced by Philip Nye, Anita Tay. We have Crispy K also helping us with social media. Uncle Ken is right here, and our special guest is Rex Omar, musician and politician. We're still here. Very shortly, we'll be coming your way with a discussion on Ghana Month. Yeah, so last Thursday, there was that beautiful event at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. Yeah, Chief Mumin was there, and NASA and all those great creatives from the Globe Productions. It was very, very beautiful. Ghana Month on Joy, Showbiz A to Z. We're back.
Now, dear, everybody is chasing world records, so from Singathon to Cookathon. Me too. I am also setting my own record in Watchathon with my Go TV. And you too can watch some on GoTV in our sweet Achedie Kesie deal for Ghana month. From March 1 to 31st, get a decoder, GoTenna, and 1 month Super Plus subscription for only 199 cedis. 199 cedis you, mess like a cra. Grab yours today at any source point and spice up your entertainment. GoTV, love it.
Attention all young readers and literary enthusiasts. Get ready to embark on an exciting journey as we enter the qualification stage of the Inter-School Reading Quiz. For the next 21 days starting from February 15th to March 7th, all registered children will have the opportunity to dive into the world of literature, test their knowledge and earn points to qualify for the next stage of the quiz. It's a race against time and a test of literary prowess. Grab your books off the Pepicav's digital library, sharpen your reading skills, and get ready to embark on this thrilling adventure. It's the qualification stage of the Inter-School Reading Quiz, where every page turned is a step closer to victory.
Qualification stage of the Inter-School Reading Quiz airs on Joy Prime from Wednesdays to Fridays at 4:30 p.m.
Dive into a new era of news consumption with myjoyonline.com, your go-to destination for cutting-edge journalism, giving you the most credible stories from business to politics and from sports to entertainment. Myjoyonline.com introduces an upgraded news website meticulously designed to empower you with an enriched browsing experience like never before. Experience the future of news browsing with myjoyonline.com.
What is happening to the Ghana movie industry? Is it the players? Is it the handlers?
Omar.
Oh no.
On a more serious note, it's about to discuss the entirety of the entertainment industry and beyond. Treat you with some live music, comedy, poetry, dance, and everything entertainment. Your Friday nights are about to light up.
Gripping conversations, business opportunities, and inspiring life stories in the engine room. We have it all. Tune in to Springboard, your virtual university with Reverend Albert Okran, this Sunday at 7 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM, Facebook, and YouTube. Catch the repeat telecast on Joy Prime every Saturday at 9 a.m. Sponsors: Enterprise Group, MTN Pulse, UMB Bank, and Central University. Media partners: Joy FM, Joy Prime, and Graphic Business. Springboard. Your personal value will shoot up.
Where we turn around.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Park Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gameparkgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Park Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Park Games. More moolah, more power.
Attention all young readers and literary enthusiasts. Get ready to embark on an exciting journey as we enter the qualification stage of the Inter-School Reading Quiz. For the next 21 days starting from February 15th to March 7th, all registered children will have